This strange clip was posted by a TikTok user and captures something truly unsettling. Someone filming a mysterious woman near a riverbank who appears to have a long serpentine tail. See for yourself what the camera picked up. In the recording, we watch someone document this eerie figure, a woman with an elongated tail that looks remarkably like that of a snake. She's perched beside the water, acting in a way that's difficult to explain. Given how brief the footage is, there's virtually no way to verify whether it's genuine, and no additional context or backstory has been provided. It's entirely possible the whole thing was set up as a piece of entertainment. So what's your take on this one? In the video that follows, a sizable crowd has gathered on a bridge, all of them peering down at something below. The person holding the camera never quite reveals what everyone else is staring at, but the looks on the faces surrounding him paint a pretty grim picture. Whatever is down there, it clearly isn't pleasant. The man filming even attempts to narrate the scene, though his voice noticeably shakes as he speaks. Something about what he's witnessing has clearly gotten under his skin. He offers a vague, somewhat muddled account of the mysterious event before the footage abruptly cuts out. Then, just a few weeks down the line, surveillance video from that same incident surfaces online, finally revealing the reason so many people had congregated on that bridge in the first place. See for yourself what they were all looking at. As it turns out, a serious car accident had occurred, and tragically, the driver did not survive the impact. But the crash itself isn't the only thing people have been fixating on. There's something else buried in this footage that has viewers completely rattled. Just seconds after the collision, the camera picks up something that stops people cold. On closer inspection, a dark, shadow-like shape appears to be standing in the bed of a nearby truck. It's difficult to say with any certainty what or who this figure might be, but many who've watched the clip have pointed out that it appears to be gazing down over the wreckage. Combined with its unsettling appearance, this has led a significant number of people to conclude that what was captured here could be the Grim Reaper himself. With that in mind, it's not hard to understand why the man filming from the bridge seemed so deeply shaken. The bridge in question actually has a long and grim history of fatal accidents, earning it the nickname the Death Curve. Standing above that wreckage, aware of the location's reputation and what this footage allegedly shows, would be enough to unsettle just about anyone. Ultimately though, paranormal or otherwise, I'll leave the verdict entirely up to you. Was Death himself present at the scene of this tragedy? Or is there another explanation for what the camera caught? A mother sits alone at home watching television when something chilling gets caught on camera.
Every room of this house is filled with antiques. Even the bathroom. But why? Like, I almost get it.
This story comes from Daniel Thompson, a man who shares a 3-story house with his mother, a home packed with antiques and irreplaceable collectibles.
You guys kind of like seeing the random stuff in my creepy old house. So I'm back, and I'm gonna keep showing you more. I'm downstairs now, I'm in the kitchen.
From artifacts sourced abroad to one-of-a-kind pieces impossible to find elsewhere, the entire property is filled with objects that are as beautiful as they are deeply unsettling.
Fun fact, if you can see these things, These used to be in my room when I was growing up as a kid, and I am just...
Was auch immer dieses Gebäude bewohnte, wollte sich nicht nur zeigen, es wollte spürbar sein. Und genau das hat die ganze Sache wirklich beunruhigend gemacht. Denn das mulmige Gefühl war plötzlich kein bloßes Bauchgefühl mehr. Irgendetwas stand bereits direkt neben ihnen.
He describes how, whenever he passes the room or cuts through the hallway toward the nearby bathroom, he picks up on a faint tapping sound coming from within. Early on, he had no idea what was causing it, but over time, he began to suspect the noise was originating from the dollhouse itself. What made it even harder to dismiss was that it wasn't constant. It would surface without warning, then vanish completely, almost as if it had never happened. That's when Daniel decided to set up a security camera pointed directly at the dollhouse, determined to figure out what was going on. Then one night, passing by the room late in the evening, he hears it again, a sharp, deliberate knocking, like something rapping against a tiny door. He's rattled, but when he pulls up the footage, there's no visible cause anywhere in the frame. 3 distinct knocks, repeating in a pattern, with absolutely nothing to account for them. Then, just as he's about to head to bed, he notices one of the dolls. Its eye appears to blink. He moves in for a closer look, but by then everything seems perfectly still and normal. The following day, things escalate. Reviewing his recordings, Daniel spots something that stops him cold. The miniature figurines arranged inside the dollhouse have shifted positions, as though something physically moved them. The room itself shows no signs of disturbance, yet the change is undeniable. He's shaken, and he starts to wonder whether this object is something far more than a decorative antique. Then, not long after, another incident unfolds at around 2:30 in the morning. A few days later, Daniel captures footage from outside the house showing the front door being knocked, but when he scrubs through the exterior recording, there is nobody there. No figure, no movement, not a single thing that could explain it. What makes it genuinely disturbing is that the knocking follows the exact same pattern he'd heard coming from inside the dollhouse. Shortly after that, Daniel posts a routine video from his workplace, and almost immediately, his mother reaches out. She sends him security footage recorded in their living room. In the clip, she's sitting on the couch watching TV when the sound of rapid, bare footsteps comes rushing toward her. She jolts upright and scans the room, but there is nothing there, nothing she can see anyway. With no clear answer, opinions among viewers remain split. Some are convinced that something supernatural has attached itself to one of the objects in that house, while others suspect deliberate staging, coincidence, or ordinary environmental sounds being misread. Either way, the question lingers. Are Daniel and his mother genuinely living with something haunted, Or is there a rational explanation hiding somewhere beneath all of it? A TikTok user named Brenner, who works at an elementary school, posted this deeply unsettling clip. For a while, the kids had been complaining about ghosts lurking around the play area, refusing to go near it, but none of the adults took them seriously. Just kids letting their imaginations run wild, everyone figured. Then one morning, the children came in claiming that things they'd left out the previous day had been rearranged. Someone or something had moved them overnight. Brenner decided to pull up the security footage, and what she found on it shook her to her core. In the dead of night, toys and objects scattered around the play area begin shifting on their own, as if unseen little hands are picking them up and playing with them. Brenner points out that nothing unusual ever occurs during daylight hours, which is why the staff had always dismissed the children's concerns. Turns out, those kids knew exactly what they were talking about. Brenner can't offer any rational explanation, but she does bring up a tragedy that struck the school years earlier, when a number of children suddenly fell ill and passed away. People in the comments are wondering whether those are the very souls now roaming the halls after dark. Of course, that's purely speculation. Nobody can say with any certainty what's behind those moving toys once the lights go out. So was it the restless spirits of the departed, or could there be something far darker at work here? Let everyone know what you think down in the comments. A man by the name of Martin had been living by himself in his apartment, going about his life like anyone else would. Then one evening, while he was sitting back watching a film, he picked up on what seemed to be the sound of footsteps moving through the adjacent room, followed by a loud banging coming from his bedroom door. He grabbed his phone and started filming. Here's what his camera caught.
Conche su madre, weón. Estaba viendo una película, weón, y como que, weón, estaban golpeando la puerta, te lo juro. Y no, conche tu madre. No, weón. Conche tu madre. Conche su madre, weón. Ay, weón. A mí no me dan tanto miedo estas weas, pero es que estoy solo, weón, de verdad. Otras veces estaba acompañado, no sé, o con mi mamá, no sé, pero ahora yo vivo solo y esta wea está conche tu madre. No. Ya, pues, weón. Ay, conche tu madre, ya. Ay, weón, me asusté con el reflejo, conche su madre. Nada ahí. Oh, weón, sí. No hay nadie, weón, este closet no. Conche su madre. Uy. Se cayó esa weá, weón. Estoy yo nomás, weón, será. Ah, la ropa. Ay, conchito, me da sombra. Vaya. Nadie.
Knocking can be heard coming from both the bedroom and bathroom doors, yet every time he goes to investigate, there's absolutely nobody there. Sadly for Martin, this turns out to be far from an isolated incident, because the very following day, things around the apartment begin to get considerably stranger. Pay close attention to what unfolds.
Me falta sacar la bicicleta, que es lo más cacho. Pero bueno, ¿qué le vamos a hacer?
He then makes a decision he'll almost certainly come to regret.
Ya, coche su madre, güey. Ya estoy, ¿cómo se dice? Un poquito ya cansado, güey. Como que no puedo, donde no puedo ni dormir, ni hacer nada más, como que ya no, me estoy volviendo loco. Bueno, se me acabó la memoria del video, pero siguiendo con lo que les decía, ya como que cosa que pasa, cosa que suena, que se cae, ya es como chucha. Ya es como, ya, pico. ¿Qué le voy a hacer? De nuevo se me agotó la memoria, pero bueno, yo no sé qué más decirles, qué más hacer, ya les mostré. Ni siquiera quería subir esto, pero creo que grabando igual como que me siento un poquito más acompañado porque ustedes saben, uno no... No pesqué más, pero conchizo, man. Es que es imposible no pescar, weón, si está... No hay nadie acá. Tampoco. ¿Qué tal el botón?
He hears a knock at his front door and chooses to go ahead and open it, but once again, not a soul in sight. A lot of viewers pointed out that opening the front door was a serious error in judgment, as he has now essentially rolled out the welcome mat for whatever spirit or entity might be lurking outside. Sure enough, the exact same thing plays out again the very next day.
Miren, de nuevo se está sintiendo ahí, pueden escuchar la puerta que están tocando de nuevo. Y mira, ¿te pueden escuchar? Sí.
The paranormal activity inside Martin's home is only in its early stages, and after throwing that front door wide open, things are almost certainly going to escalate. Hopefully, what comes next gives us some answers. In our next clip, a woman was pulling an early morning shift inside a large building. She was the only one who had arrived at that point, and while going about her duties on the lower floors, she picked up a deeply unsettling noise coming from the dining area, several floors above her. It struck her immediately as wrong. There was nobody else supposed to be in that building. She grabbed her phone and made her way upstairs, recording the whole time. Here's what her camera caught. As she steps into the darkened dining room, an eerie, mournful sound fills the space. The kind that makes it sound like someone is in real pain. Shaken but trying to hold it together, she decides the best move is to get to the elevator and get out fast. But right as the lift doors are about to close behind her, the sound of footsteps comes pounding in her direction.
Towards her.
It was like someone, or something, was sprinting to slip inside before those doors shut. And based on what happened next, that may be exactly what occurred, because once inside the elevator, she noticed something that stopped her cold and snapped a photo of it. Staring back at her in the elevator's reflective surface was what appeared to be a ghastly pale face, hollow black eyes, and a gaping dark mouth. After that night, she made it very clear she was never doing that early solo shift again. But the question the channel you're looking at on your screen is focused on posting educational content about firefighters, covering everything from how they respond to dangerous scenarios to the methods they use when battling intense blazes. But buried within one of those videos was something nobody expected.
That's pretty great. I've been down low.
You should see it right now. It's amazing. Look through the window. It's like exploding. Hold your breath and go low. Just make sure you can get out because it's pretty amazing inside there. Did you look in the doorway?
Yeah, flames are coming out.
No, better not be.
Grand Low better be out there. We're out. Oh, I'm out. Yeah, hey, Grand Autumn, go get out.
The person behind the camera was actually the property owner himself, his attention fixed entirely on the flames, completely oblivious to what was being recorded just behind him. If you look carefully, you can make out a dark, shadowy figure moving around inside the burning structure, a building that was confirmed to have been vacant at the time. That by itself is unsettling enough, but what follows makes it even harder to explain.
Ooh, that's burning. I don't know why that burns not yet.
People in the comments eventually flagged a barely audible sound woven into the audio, something resembling the laughter of a child, drifting eerily through the recording. And when the shot pans to the exterior of the house, that same dark shape spotted inside now appears to be standing outside. A lot of people believe the fire may have stirred up something that had long been lurking there, something that had no intention of being noticed. Does this house have a sinister past? Or is this simply a deeply unsettling moment that the camera happened to catch? Drop your thoughts down in the comments. But what's really going on inside this building? Where did these experiences begin? This is a security building located in Phoenix, Arizona, and one of its janitors has been at the center of some genuinely unsettling encounters. Strange things seem to follow this man wherever he goes on the job. On one occasion, while cleaning the bathrooms, he heard multiple stall doors slam, one after another, despite being completely alone in the room. He's also described an overwhelming sensation that can only be called a dark presence lurking somewhere close by. Not long ago, while pulling a late shift, a female co-worker of his admitted she was too frightened to go up to a particular floor by herself, so Miguel offered to accompany her. When the two of them stepped off the elevator onto the 7th floor, a loud, jarring bang immediately grabbed their attention. Realizing it was one of the doors slamming on its own, Miguel wasted no time pulling out his phone and hitting record. Here's exactly what his camera picked up. The two of them froze in place as Miguel slowly panned down the corridor, and that's when a dark shape drifted into view. The shadowy figure moved out into the open, then appeared to pause and reverse direction at the precise moment Miguel flinched back. The sudden appearance of this semi-transparent form clearly rattled him as it slid out from behind the corner. Both Miguel and his co-worker were visibly shaken, knowing with certainty that no one else was on that floor, which raises the obvious question, just what exactly did he manage to capture?
So there's your attic access right there.
So there's plenty of person in here.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. What in the world is that? Wow. Go in there and step on that little blue thing and see if that's where that noise came.
Yeah, it sounded like a kid toy.
It might. It sort of sounds like it.
Something. There was a. I heard it.
That one. Did you hear it?
A piece of this footage came directly from police body cameras and was released straight to the public. Nothing was edited, and there's no possibility it was staged. Now here's where things get even more unsettling. A full month after the devastating tragedy inside the Watts household, officers were called back to the now empty property after neighbors reported seeing a woman moving around within the home. When police went inside, they found nobody there, but some people watching the footage believe they noticed something else entirely. As one of the officers stands at the head of the staircase, what appears to be a small, dark shape briefly emerges from behind him before vanishing just as quickly. But the strangeness doesn't stop there. A viewer who had watched the full documentary over on Netflix flagged something that caught a lot of people off guard.
In this documentary that everybody's been talking about, and right here in this room, there's a little girl standing right here playing. She's wearing like an orange shirt, and there's another girl right there, right there, right there, and there's another one right here. Movement. You see her right here. See, another girl.
There she go. There she is. Okay.
There are those who think the footage captures the spirit of one of the young girls, though a far more grounded explanation actually exists. The child visible in that clip is the daughter of Shanann's close friend Nicole, the very same person who first reported Shanann as missing. She's simply spending time in one of the Watts girls' rooms. That said, a separate and genuinely puzzling video surfaced during the investigation, recorded by a content creator known as Franco TV. He happened to be passing through Colorado and chose to swing by the Watts home to pay his respects. He placed a teddy bear on the front step among the other tributes visitors had left behind. He was broadcasting the visit live to his Patreon supporters and had absolutely no plans to do any kind of paranormal investigation. He was simply there to honor the family, and yet, something showed up on camera, something he wasn't looking for. Hey guys.
A little bit different than my normal videos. This wasn't supposed to be an adventure. It was only supposed to be me going to the Watts house to pay my condolences. I am up to date with what was going on with the whole situation, and I wanted to visit the house and drop off a teddy bear that I had purchased. However, I did decide to bring my live stream with me for Patreon, and something completely unexpected happened upon recording. Now, let's use a thermal imaging camera and see what we can see. This should actually be pretty interesting. Hold on, let me put the Tamcam away for a second. That's the house through the thermal. This thing is awesome. I think I'm the only one. Ooh, that was weird. I don't know if that was me, but I think I saw... You know what's weird? Look at the front, the top window to the right. That one's the only one that it looks like there's something behind it. What is unnerving is that you don't see anything. Look at that. I am literally getting a heat signature right in front of that window. Like someone's standing there.
Alright, so right now this video footage is only just so I could get a high definition footage. I'm going to be recording with a different camera on my thermal imaging, because unfortunately I can't take the videos off of it. So this is just to show you that both windows are open. That's the window that I was seeing weird movement from. And apparently these two rooms, what I just read online, was the two little girls' rooms.
What the hell is that? What is that? Does that look like someone with their head in their hand holding against the window? Look, and now it's changing. There it goes. What the hell am I seeing? Again, this is coming straight from an infrared perspective. Look, it looks like somebody else just came in on the far left.
This was not supposed to be even a video, it was just a place that I came to visit. However, what I saw on the thermal I thought would be interesting to show you guys. I came here to drop off a bear. And I actually put the bear over here because it's like a little memorial here.
So could Franco TV have accidentally recorded the presence of Shanann and her children without ever intending to? And might that officer's body camera have picked up the family attempting to communicate from the other side? Drop your thoughts below and let me know what you believe. A man traveling through Mexico had just settled into his hotel room, expecting nothing out of the ordinary, but it wasn't long before he started picking up on something off. Small, unsettling details that just didn't add up. His unease grew strong enough that he pulled out his phone and hit record. And what his camera captured is something you need to see for yourself.
There's something really scary going on in here right now. I'm in the hotel room, and I was laying here watching CNN, and that phone fell off its cradle, and I have no idea why. One of those cups right there fell off onto the floor down in here. I have no idea how that happened. It didn't fall out there where the light would hit. It fell, came down, went over and under the sink and landed right in here in this shadowy area. It's really freaking me out. So I decided to turn on I decided to turn on my phone because I can't figure out what's going on, and it's happened a couple times already. And I don't know. Oh crap. I know I got that. That's crazy. The phone's not even plugged in on the wall, but it's coming off its cradle by itself. I tell you guys, this stuff is really freaking me out. This cup is the one that fell and landed under here. I don't know why. I don't know why that's going on, but that's really, really freaky. Can you move something else again for me? Anything? Oh! I can't hear you. Can you maybe speak a little louder? Oh my goodness. Okay, I know you're in here. I just want to know what your name is. And if there's anything I can do to help you. Is there anything at all? Is there a place that you want to go to? A place that you need to be? Anything? Cool. Okay, it's freaking me out, but you're not really scary. If I open the door, will you leave? Because I really would like to get to sleep. I'm opening the door. You are welcome to leave. Can you move the...
All right, so out of absolutely nowhere, things in the room start moving on their own. A towel drops without warning, as though some invisible hand had yanked it down. Then, even more chilling, the phone itself gets shoved violently across the surface, seemingly by a force no one can see. The footage spread across the internet almost immediately, igniting a fierce debate among viewers. Some are convinced this is legitimate proof of something beyond explanation, while others are equally sure it was staged or has a perfectly rational cause. So where do you stand? Was this the real deal, or just an elaborate setup? And seriously, what would you even do if something like this happened to you during a hotel stay? In Belfast, Northern Ireland, a piece of CCTV footage has recently come to light, uploaded directly through the official TikTok account of Crumlin Road Jail. This hulking stone structure served as an active prison until it finally shut down in 1990s, and today operates as a museum, offering historical tours and overnight paranormal investigations. The facility carries an undeniably grim past and has long been associated with intense supernatural occurrences. But what their security system recorded inside the well-lit gift shop during the dead of night is something that simply defies explanation. Judge for yourself what unfolds. As we go through the security footage, the silence of the deserted gift shop is abruptly shattered. Despite the merchandise being neatly and firmly arranged, one book is suddenly shoved forward and drops straight to the floor, and that's only the beginning. One after another, a grand total of exactly 5 books are flung from the shelf by something completely invisible. That specific number carries a deeply unsettling significance in this setting. According to locals and paranormal investigators, poltergeist disturbances at the jail almost always manifest in groups of 5, a haunting pattern believed to echo the 5 condemned prisoners who were executed by hanging within those very walls. But the staff who came in to tidy up the aftermath noticed the most bone-chilling detail of all. When they examined what had been thrown, they discovered that every last one of those books was a copy of a title called Hanged at the Crumlin Road Jail. Could this really be nothing more than a strange, isolated draft passing through an aging building? Not long ago, a hotel based somewhere in Latin America posted a chilling video to TikTok through its official account, and it didn't take long before the clip exploded across the internet and divided opinion everywhere. According to the staff at the property, when they went to service one of the guest rooms, they discovered it had been completely torn apart, furniture overturned, everything in total chaos. What made it genuinely unsettling was the fact that the room had been locked the whole time and hadn't had a single guest in over a week. Initially, the employees assumed someone must have managed to break in somehow, but that theory started to fall apart when the exact same thing continued happening repeatedly. Every single time they checked on that room, it was wrecked all over again for no explainable reason, and yet not one item had ever been taken. Even more baffling, the door and windows were always found locked tight, with absolutely no evidence of a forced entry. Then one day, a staff member may have unknowingly pointed their camera at something truly nightmare-inducing. See for yourself what was captured.
Veía una persona en la habitación 30 y le dije no, y me dice, ¿está ocupada? Le digo no, se desocupó en la mañana y no hay nadie. Yo misma fui a ventilar esa habitación y ahorita que voy pasando por acá me doy cuenta que si es cierto se ve como que si alguien se estuviera asomando en la ventana. Vamos a ver qué es lo que pasa, vamos a ver qué hay ahí, pero se supone que no hay nada y sigue ahí viéndose. Aquí más cerquita, sí, miren, ahí se alcanza a ver una cara, unos ojos. Vamos a ver a esa habitación. Estamos subiendo las escaleras porque desde ahí es donde estábamos viendo que se veía. Aquí ya no se ve nada, a lo mejor por el reflejo de la luz. Y vamos a ver en la habitación. Aquí está la cama, porque esta es una habitación pequeña. Aquí pues no se ve nada. Y aquí está la tele donde estábamos, donde se supone que se veía, pero no se ve nada. No entiendo por qué se ve.
Once the image is sharpened and enhanced, something becomes disturbingly visible inside the room. What appears to be an enormous pale face with deeply wrong features lurking in the shadows. The moment the employee steps through the door, the face disappears instantly, as though it was never there. Just seconds after that, a thunderous bang erupts from within the room, sending the woman into a screaming panic as she bolts straight out into the hallway.
Se supone que se veía, pero no se ve nada. No entiendo por qué se ve.
A lot of viewers are convinced that the horrifying face recorded on camera is directly tied to the mysterious destruction being found in that room. Some even argued that whatever appeared in that footage looked far too inhuman to be any ordinary person, pushing many to conclude that something genuinely supernatural may have taken up residence there. Next clip comes from the paranormal investigation channel known as The Haunted Side. In this one, Patrick heads out to explore a location called the Schultz House of Horrors, a place with a reputation for being genuinely haunted. He goes in to conduct his investigation completely alone, or at least, that's what he believed.
Schultz House. A lot of crazy activity in here. They believe that there are a lot of kid spirits running around here. When I was setting up gear and just kind of like getting everything ready, setting up the spirit box and everything like that, I heard something really loud upstairs and then like laughing that sounded like like a little kid laughing. Or are you downstairs with me right now? Do you have something that you want to say? You can come and talk to me if you want. I'm just here to talk to you, here to hear your story. That's it. What the hell was that? Do you want me to go upstairs? Oh, I heard something. It sounded like I think that was a spirit box.
Throughout the footage, Patrick picks up all kinds of unsettling sounds echoing through the building, and at one point, a voice can clearly be heard responding with the word yes, but it was actually sharp-eyed viewers who caught something Patrick himself completely missed. Right after he asks out loud whether he should head upstairs, a noise draws his attention toward the staircase, and as he tilts the camera up, the head of a dark, shadowy figure comes into frame, peering directly down at him from the top of the stairs, silently watching. So what do you think? Did Patrick from the haunted side actually document real paranormal activity inside this house? Security footage has recorded a deeply unsettling incident that's hard to explain away. The clip shows a young boy wandering through a hallway, testing a series of locked doors. What starts out as an innocent, unremarkable moment gradually takes a much darker turn. Just as the boy reaches the second door, a black, shadowy figure tears into the shot without warning. What unfolds in the following seconds is genuinely disturbing. The child seems to be shoved with real force by this mysterious silhouette, thrown completely off balance and hitting the ground hard. A large number of people who've watched this footage are convinced the shadow is a supernatural presence, physically making contact with the boy. Others have tried to explain it away through things like odd lighting or digital tampering, yet the sharpness of the figure and the undeniable effect it has on the child only deepen the mystery. So what exactly was that thing? A trick of the eye? Or something from the other side, making sure it wouldn't be ignored? That location may be hiding something far more sinister than anyone ever suspected. Just a few weeks ago, on March 17th, 2025, a young woman uploaded a deeply unsettling clip that exploded across the internet, racking up over 7 million views in no time at all. The video shows her and a large group of friends on an outdoor trip through the mountains and forests of the Philippines. At roughly 5 in the morning, 2 of the girls had stopped for an extended period to snap some photos, causing them to fall behind the rest of the group. Then, as they started sprinting to catch back up with everyone else, something absolutely chilling unfolded.
Naliligaw. Wala rin mga kasama namin. Wala rin mga kasama namin. Kailangan namin silang habulin. Kasi maliligaw kami. Gagi, malayo na sila. Wala na.
While the 2 girls were running, a strange dark figure could be seen directly behind them, seemingly pursuing them for a noticeable stretch, before eventually vanishing without a trace. Looking at the footage more carefully, the figure is entirely black, appears somewhat see-through, and has no distinguishable features whatsoever.
Naliligaw kami, guys! Naliligaw! Wala rin mga kasama. Pero yung mga kasama namin, kailangan namin silang habulin. Kasi
The girl who posted it says that she and her friend were completely by themselves at that point in time. She also mentions that she had no idea the figure was even there until she reviewed the footage afterward, and neither of them has any explanation for what it could have been. So what's your take? Was there a real person following them through those woods, or was it something else entirely? Dog trainer living well outside city limits was going about his day like any other, following his normal routine, when something completely out of the ordinary unfolded. A woman he didn't recognize showed up on his property, acting in a way that immediately struck him as off.
What'd you just say?
I heard you had these beautiful black German shepherds here, so I came down to say hi.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Is it okay if I come in? Just for a quick second.
Oh, no, we don't really allow visitors in.
I came a long way just to...
How'd you even know they were here?
Somebody told me. This is where you...
How did you get here? How did you get here?
I walked from all the way down the road. Someone dropped me off.
Oh, wow, that's crazy. Okay. Yeah, no, we don't really allow visitors. We just moved in, and you know, these dogs, they're out here with me now. They're friendly, but we have some rescue dogs and even protection dogs, and behind the other gate over there. So you know, we don't really have a open door policy.
I'm really great with dogs. Is it okay if I meet them? You'll see. I'll show you.
No, if these guys they're out, if they want to come say hi at the gate, it's okay. But we don't really have any visitors on the property.
I mean, this is like the only. There's like.
No, don't open the gate. Like I said, the dogs in the back, they are not as friendly as the ones that are out here. So please don't open the gate.
I'll show you. It's just gonna be a quick second.
No, not today. Maybe another time, but we're not allowing visitors. And I don't even know how we got here.
I told you I came down the road. Listen.
Can you just let go of the gate?
I thought you were nice. I just wanted to say hi to your dog.
No, we are nice. We just don't allow visitors on the property.
His discomfort grows noticeably as the encounter continues, particularly because she seems absolutely determined to get onto the property no matter what. The way she fixates on the dogs makes the whole situation feel even more unsettling. As strange as things already were, they were only heading in a darker direction, because just a few hours later, she came back.
Listen, you need to leave now. I'm telling you right now. I'm gonna let them out. It's midnight. What are you doing here? Leave now. It's midnight. We're not playing any more games. You're agitating my dogs. I told you late at night my guard dogs are out, and they're out. I'm not gonna be babysitting. You broke onto the property at 3 in the morning.
That wasn't me.
They're gonna come out.
I just came to bless you and your dog.
You need to leave now. You need to leave now. I'm letting them out. Don't come any closer. I'm gonna let them out.
You don't have to let them out.
I'm gonna let them out. They're here and they're waiting.
Don't do that.
I'm gonna leave. The police has been looking for 4 days now. There's no one around. This is my place. I don't know where you're coming from. I don't know where you're coming from.
I just came to bless you.
I'm letting my dogs out.
Don't do that.
When she returns later that evening, she makes an eerie claim that she's there to offer a blessing to both the trainer and his animals. And then, right in the middle of this already tense standoff, something happens that's hard to explain. The woman simply vanishes before his eyes, with no apparent reason or warning. The effect on the man is exactly what you'd expect. He's left shaken to his core and desperate for answers. What was this woman actually after? And why was she so intent on getting inside that remote property? While a man was out enjoying a vacation in the Rocky Mountains, his girlfriend used her iPhone to snap a live photo of him. For anyone unfamiliar, an iPhone live photo automatically records a 3-second video clip alongside the still image. Later on, as the couple was going back through their pictures, they stumbled across something deeply unsettling. Despite being completely alone out in the wilderness that day, there appeared to be a figure watching the man from the open field directly behind him. At first glance, it seems like it could just be someone standing in tall grass, except, as this next shot makes clear, the grass in that area simply doesn't grow that high. So looking at it again, it starts to seem more like whoever, or whatever, it was had been deliberately crouching down, concealed within the grass. But then the 3-second live photo video tells an entirely different story. The figure almost appears to be eye in motion, walking, despite the fact that the lower half of its body would have to be completely below the surface of the ground. And once the footage is motion stabilized, the whole thing becomes even more disturbing. This next clip involves something that terrifies people on a level even deeper than your standard ghost or haunting, a mimic. These entities are described as cunning and calculated, capable of replicating the voices of people close to you, people you'd trust without question, often as a way to lure you in or get a reaction. One afternoon, a woman found herself completely alone at home when she became aware of a sound coming from somewhere else inside the house. On the surface, everything appeared normal. Pay close attention to what you're about to hear.
Are you there, honey? Open the door for mommy. Bella. Hello. Bella. Bella, are you there, honey? Open the door for mommy. Bella, are you there, honey? Open the door for mommy. Bella, are you there, honey?
The second people heard that voice, the comments section absolutely exploded. Not necessarily because of the words themselves, but because of the woman's reaction. She didn't lose her composure. She didn't call out in response. She didn't even ask who was there. She went completely still and quiet. And according to those who study the paranormal, that decision to stay silent may have been the most important thing she could have done, because there's one warning that comes up over and over again when people talk about mimics. Never answer back. The instant you do, you've crossed a line. You're no longer a witness to something strange. You've become part of it. And a lot of people believe that by holding her silence, she may have prevented whatever was present from taking things much further. TikTok user Kels25 uploaded security footage from inside their house, and although it begins completely normally, things get unsettling in a hurry. The video shows an empty living room late at night, when out of nowhere the curtains begin swaying on their own, with no one anywhere close to them. The homeowner walks over and pulls the curtains shut, but they drift open again by themselves, almost as though something is trying to get a look at the outside world. Now, automatic curtain systems do exist, but these look like plain old manual ones, and even if you wanted to blame a draft, the movement is far too steady and deliberate for that explanation to sit comfortably. You could also point to air vents or an open window somewhere in the house, but the way the curtains behave and the way the homeowner responds makes it pretty clear this isn't a nightly occurrence they're used to. Maybe it really is just a random gust of air. Or maybe something unseen had its own reasons for wanting to peer outside. Whatever the answer is, it's more than enough to have you eyeing your own curtains a little suspiciously before bed tonight. Next up, we have a strange case from an antique shop somewhere in England back in 2017. Store security cameras recorded what appeared to be a completely stationary toy rocking horse suddenly begin swaying on its own, with no one anywhere near it. Some versions of the story go even further, claiming the horse was actually hurled off a shelf entirely, which only made the whole thing harder to explain. Many people who have looked into this have pointed to poltergeist activity as the likely culprit, a form of paranormal disturbance known for causing unexplained sounds and objects shifting or being destroyed without any clear cause. Sure, skeptics will throw out explanations like minor vibrations or drafts moving through the room, but the movements caught on tape looked far too purposeful for that to hold up. It's become one of those go-to examples of how an ordinary, everyday object can end up sitting right at the center of something truly extraordinary. The following video was recorded during what appears to be a small community event somewhere in Latin America. A stage has been set up beneath a green, white, and red balloon arch, and before the music begins, the lead singer explains in Spanish that the 5-member rock band had originally formed years earlier for a competition. They won, but eventually went their separate ways, as university took them in different directions. This performance was meant to be a reunion, a chance to play together one more time. But years later, that's not what any of them remember most. Watch. As the band performs, a pale-faced woman briefly peeks out from the corner. She appears for only a moment before slipping back out of sight. What's especially interesting is that no one reacts. Not the band, not the audience, not even the person recording. According to those who shared the footage, the figure wasn't noticed until everyone watched the video back afterward. Some viewers suggested it was simply another guest curiously watching the performance before stepping away. Given the angle and distance, that's certainly a reasonable possibility. Others weren't convinced. The woman's unusually pale appearance, the way she silently peers around the corner without ever fully revealing herself, and the fact that no one present seemed to notice her at the time have led some paranormal enthusiasts to draw comparisons with the watcher motif found throughout folklore. Across parts of Latin America, stories often describe silent figures that observe gatherings from the edges of the crowd without interacting, only becoming apparent later in photographs or video recordings. Whether these tales reflect genuine experiences or simply the human tendency to notice hidden details after the fact is impossible to say. Still, one detail continues to unsettle viewers. If she was simply another attendee, why did no one remember seeing her until the recording was played back? And who exactly did she come for? The following video was recorded by Abdullah Al-Anbari, a self-described adventurer from the Arab world who regularly explores abandoned and allegedly haunted locations. But nothing in his previous videos could have prepared him for what happened inside a place locals simply call Beit al-Shaitan, or the Devil's House. For the first few minutes, it's just the crunch of debris underfoot, a sweeping flashlight beam across collapsed shelves and broken walls, and Abdullah reciting a quiet prayer as he moves deeper in. He's barely been inside 5 minutes when everything changes. Watch.
بسم الله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. لا بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله بسم الله بسم الله بسم الله بسم الله. الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض من ذا الذي يشفع عنده إلا بإذنه يعلم ما بين أيديهم وما خلفهم ولا يحيطون بشيء من علمه إلا بما شاء وسع كرسيه السماوات والأرض ولا يؤوده حفظهما. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. بسم الله بسم الله بسم الله بسم الله بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. بسم الله بسم الله بسم الله.
That white door flies open on its own with brutal, explosive force. And before Abdullah can even process what just happened, a second door slams shut inside the room beyond it. Then a few minutes later, 3 separate doors slam in rapid succession all around him, one after another, like something is moving through the building with purpose. He's screaming, reciting the throne verse from the Quran at a frantic pace, running blind through the dark. Near the end, a large sheet of glass is thrown and shatters just behind him as he sprints for the exit. In Islamic tradition, jinn are not ghosts in the Western sense. They're believed to be a separate class of beings, created from smokeless fire, capable of inhabiting abandoned spaces and interacting violently with those who enter uninvited. Many viewers familiar with that tradition saw this footage and immediately said Abdullah had disturbed something territorial. But what do you think? Quick thing before we continue, all of our videos are now available on Spotify too, so if that's somewhere you already find yourself late at night, every compilation we've made is waiting there for you. Whichever way you'd rather watch, the link's in the description. Now back to the video. Now in this next clip, 2 teenagers, a guy behind the camera, and his companion Alyssa, drove out to an abandoned building in Tualatin on April 28th of 2016, around noon, after a friend of theirs had already been inside and came out refusing to go back. That friend had gone exploring, made his way to the back of the building, and claimed he found something in the walk-in freezer. He didn't say what exactly, just that it was a creature and that he ran. That alone should have been enough to keep anyone away. But the 2 of them decided to go in anyway, parking nearby and waiting out a police patrol before slipping through an unlocked side door. They make their way deeper into the kitchen and storage area, where Alyssa switches on her phone's flashlight. The beam sweeps across industrial sinks, shelving units, debris, and then they reach it. A heavy metal walk-in freezer door. Watch. The flashlight catches something pale and thin, hunched in the back corner, long limbs folded at wrong angles. The footage is shaky and the moment is over almost instantly, but it's there.
Was up whatever the hell that was in the back freezer. Whatever Alyssa didn't see, but she was able to see on the video. And we're definitely in agreement that once everyone out there sees this, they're gonna know that there's something going on here. I don't know what the hell it was we saw in there. Unfortunately, I don't think I closed the freezer, so it's probably free to move around inside the whole building now. So when I got there, it was closed up, and I think that's how Ken said he left it last time after he saw it. When he ran out of there, he made sure it was closed up.
After making it outside, he reviews the footage with Alyssa, and she confirms she can see the figure on playback. Some viewers immediately called it a crawler, a modern internet label for pale, emaciated humanoid figures, reported moving in unnatural postures, often found in isolated or enclosed spaces. Skeptics argue it could be a person or a prop, given how briefly and chaotically the camera captured it. What do you think was inside that freezer? In this next clip, two men, Leonardo and his cameraman, head out at night to investigate a stretch of railroad tracks somewhere in Brazil, a location Leonardo claims he'd visited before and walked away from deeply unsettled. According to him, the tracks carry a dark history. A bride took her own life here after discovering her husband had been unfaithful, and ever since, people in the area have reported strange things happening along these rails after dark. Watch.
Aí, nós já estamos chegando. Leonardo do céu, olha o vulto branco lá, ó! Marcelo, atrás de você, cara! Meu Deus do céu, cara! Nossa, cara, ele passou de um lado pro outro. Vamos tentar procurar lá. Vamos, vai. Ele passou de um lado pro outro aí. Hã? Vai. Aqui que passou, né? Barulho. Um barulho no mato, cara. Ele passou por aqui, ó, cara. Você chegou a ver? Ai, tô escutando, cara, subiu, cara. Será que não é o gritador? Ai. Meu Deus do céu. Olha, cara, fazia um barulho ali, ó, no mato, meu. Ai. Ai, tá cantando, viado. Eu falei pra você que tá cantando, homem. O negócio tá na rua, lá. Aonde? Ai, tá. Oi! Tá ouvindo, meu? Vamos lá na encruzilhada, Leonardo. Vamos cruzar rápido aqui, cara. Lá nós ser na estrada, meu. Oi! Tá escutando? Oi, cara! Vai pra rua! Lá tem iluminação, cara, mais perto! Vai!
Just moments before the men suddenly turn and run, a blurry white figure darts across the tracks in the distance, moving so quickly that it's easy to miss on the first viewing. Then, as they flee, a woman's voice can be heard singing. The singing is faint, almost distant, but it follows them long enough for both men to react as they retreat from the tracks. Whether the sounds and the figure are connected to the specific tragedy Leonardo described, or whether this stretch of track draws something older and less defined, the footage doesn't answer. This next clip was recorded by a home security camera inside a young girl's bedroom just before 1 o'clock in the morning on July 10th, 2020. The room is still, lit only by the camera's infrared night vision. She's fast asleep, the house is quiet, and for a while, nothing at all seems unusual. The camera wasn't placed there by accident. According to her parents, Their daughter had been complaining for some time that she kept hearing unexplained noises in her room at night. Eventually, she became so uncomfortable that she asked if they could leave a security camera recording while she slept, hoping it would capture whatever had been keeping her awake. Watch. As the room remains silent, the closet door slowly cracks open on its own, only slightly. Then, without warning, a basketball shoots out from inside the closet, rolling forcefully across the bedroom floor. According to her family, this was the only unusual event captured during the entire night's recording. After reviewing the footage the next morning, she refused to sleep in her bedroom again and spent the rest of the night upstairs. Skeptics have suggested the basketball may simply have been leaning against the closet door, eventually rolling free as the door shifted under its own weight. That's certainly possible, especially if the closet was overfilled or the floor wasn't perfectly level. Others focused on something different, the timing. Before it fell, you can hear noises like something was moving around inside the closet. In folklore and paranormal accounts alike, closets have long been associated with the unknown, not because there's anything inherently supernatural about them, but because they're enclosed, shadowed spaces where ordinary explanations are often difficult to confirm. It's one reason so many reported nighttime encounters seem to begin there, whether this was nothing more than gravity finally winning, or something unseen inside that closet. One thing is certain. After watching the footage, her parents understood why their daughter had been afraid to sleep in that room. This next clip comes from a security camera mounted at an outdoor checkpoint or intersection, recorded at just after midnight in 2019. It's a quiet stretch of road. Damp pavement, streetlights, the occasional car passing through. Nothing unusual. Then a white van rolls through the frame, its headlights flooding the shot, and the moment it clears the road and the glare fades, something is standing there that wasn't there before. Watch. A tall, thin, translucent humanoid figure appears near one of the streetlight poles, glowing faintly against the dark road. It holds its shape for about 2 seconds, then simply dissolves, gone. You can hear the men watching this footage react in real time. Voices jumping, words tumbling over each other, that unmistakable sound of people trying to process something they weren't expecting to see. Some believe figures like this are residual apparitions, energy imprints left behind at locations with high foot traffic or emotional significance. Others aren't so sure it's residual at all. Something that materializes that cleanly, then vanishes, suggests awareness. What was standing on that road at 3 in the morning? The following clip was recorded just before midnight on September 23, 2020. The house is completely still, The dining room sits empty, bottles and containers scattered across a black dining table, a broom resting against the wall near the kitchen entrance, and framed pictures hanging neatly in place. Every door and window is closed, and nothing appears to be moving. Watch. Without warning, the framed pictures fall at virtually the same moment. They immediately rushed in, expecting to find broken hooks or nails pulled from the wall. Instead, they found something that made the incident even stranger. The nails were still firmly embedded in the wall. According to them, the frames hadn't simply slipped off. They appeared to have been pulled forward with enough force to come free while leaving the nails untouched. With no open windows, no noticeable breeze, and no sign of anyone entering the room, they struggled to find a natural explanation. Some paranormal researchers point to reports of objects being displaced, rather than simply falling, arguing that sudden forceful movement is one of the more frequently described features in alleged poltergeist cases. Skeptics, on the other hand, note that certain hanging mechanisms can occasionally detach while leaving the nail itself in place, especially if the frame shifts at just the right angle. The second clip is quieter, but no less unsettling. Watch closely.
These are actually pocket stands. That makes sense. So you hang your pocket watch right there like that. When you're not using your pocket watch in your pocket, you could put it on your dresser and use it like a clock. That's really cool. I haven't seen these in a very long time. I've been in business for almost 50 years, and these were not something that you find in every household. What time period are these from? These are probably about, I would say, around the 20s. This one might be a little bit newer than that. You can see the casting and detail isn't as finely done as the snake is. Now with the finish on this one, it doesn't have all the original patina on it. This one though has all the original paint and just the whole look of it. This is the one I think is the better one. I like the parrot better than talks a lot. Oh, that's probably because you talk a lot yourself.
Look, Deja.
The door slowly swings open on its own. On its own, a door opening can often be explained by pressure differences, a poorly latched catch, or subtle movement within an older home. But after they had already witnessed the pictures, seemingly pulled from the wall, under circumstances they couldn't explain, this second incident felt less like an isolated coincidence and more like a part of the same pattern. The following video was recorded inside a quiet room one afternoon, with daylight pressing through the blinds and everything looking perfectly still until this happens. The small knob on that cabinet jiggles, briefly, sharply, like something tried to pull it open. According to the owner, this occurred shortly after purchasing an antique mirror from an estate sale and bringing it into the home. The mirror had originally come from an old property clearance, with no known history attached to it. In the days that followed, subtle disturbances were reported around the house, but nothing was captured on camera until this moment. Some viewers suggest a simple explanation: settling wood, internal pressure in the cabinet, or a hidden mechanism like a loose string or latch reacting off-camera. But others point out what makes the clip unsettling is not just the movement itself, but the absence of anything visible causing it. There is no one in frame, no interaction, no follow-through, just a single, isolated motion, and then stillness again. Moral of the story, as the owner later put it, be careful what you bring into your home from estate sales, garage sales, or thrift stores, because sometimes what seems like a simple object can come with more than just history attached to it. The following video series documents what a family claims has been an escalating sequence of paranormal activity inside their home, beginning with something their young son kept trying to tell them, and which they, like most parents would, initially dismissed. The boy had been mentioning someone named Jerry for a while, a name that didn't belong to anyone in the household, and the family assumed it was the kind of invisible friend children invent and eventually forget. Then the security camera caught something that made that explanation a lot harder to hold on to. Watch.
I don't see something. Here. Here.
Well, I don't know. What is it, Mulu?
Jerry.
Where?
It's right here, next to the gun. It's next to the gun.
What you see is the boy mid-play, suddenly freezing completely still, rigid, alert, visibly frightened, staring at a point off to the right of the frame, where nothing visible to the camera exists. He stays that way for several seconds before running to wake his father, and the moment the man is up, the child points directly at that same spot, insisting something is there. The father investigates and finds nothing.
Green Goblin. The Venom.
No one believed him. That detail matters, because children under 5 are frequently cited in paranormal research as more perceptive to presences that adults can't detect. Some believe it's because they haven't yet learned to rationalize away what they sense. Others think entities like Jerry, which would traditionally fall under the category of an attachment, a presence that fixates on a specific person in the home, often a child, actively choose younger witnesses precisely because they're more likely to be dismissed. The next morning, the family was going about a completely normal start to the day. The woman washing dishes in the kitchen, the man waiting to refill a container, the boy sitting on the sofa watching a movie. Nothing about it felt unusual. Watch closely.
ये maggots कहाँ से आ रही? What? Maggots, houseflies के जो worms जो आते हैं ना, दो हैं। इधर है ना? Maggots, not worms. Come and see now. कितना time लगा रही हो? Take a minute, please.
कहाँ से आ रहे?
Pick up your puzzle after cleaning. Fast. Remove the puzzle.
What?
मारो कीड़ों को. बाहर निकलेंगे तो.
What?
चलो fast.
There's a lot of chichi.
Just remove everything I need to mop. एक झाड़ू करो, एक mop करो. Nothing. Later I will tell you. I want clean house.
Relax, Maggot. Why are you scared? Babes, बच्चा तुमको देख के सीखता है. ड्रामा मत करो.
A small blue toy on the floor rocks forward and then backward on its own with no one near it. The man is several feet away, and the movement has no obvious cause. It's brief, maybe 2 seconds, but it's distinct. Skeptics would point to vibration from footsteps or an uneven floor, and that's a reasonable argument on its own. But set against what the child had been reacting to the night before, a lot of viewers see this as confirmation that whatever was in that room wasn't done making itself known. Small object movements are one of the most commonly reported early signs of poltergeist-adjacent activity. Not the dramatic, furniture-flinging kind, but a quieter presence testing the space, learning the room. The family says they ignored this too. Things didn't stay quiet. Weeks later, after friends, both Christian and Muslim, suggested playing the Lord's Prayer and Ayatul Kursi to clear the apartment of whatever negative energy had taken hold, the family did exactly that. And according to them, what followed was immediate and deeply disturbing. Listen closely. The man and woman are discovered moving through the apartment in visible distress, searching the floor, bending down, the woman pressing her hand to her mouth in what sounds like genuine panic, her voice high and alarmed, while her husband speaks in a calmer, measured tone, trying to keep her composed so the boy doesn't pick up on her fear. They reportedly found close to 33 maggots appearing throughout the apartment with no traceable source. No rotting food, no entry point, no explanation for where they came from. In certain religious traditions, a sudden and unexplained infestation following a spiritual cleansing is interpreted not as the evil leaving, but as it reacting, a sign that something present in the space was disturbed by the prayers and pushed back. The timing here is what keeps this from being easily explained away. Maggots require a food source and time to develop, and finding them throughout the home within hours of playing those recordings, with no origin point discovered, sits uncomfortably outside what a simple pest problem usually looks like. The woman, we're told, has a phobia of worms, which makes her panic understandable on its own. But the man's calm, systematic search suggests he wasn't dismissing it either. Whatever Jerry is, and whatever has been moving through this apartment, it doesn't seem to be fading. It seems to be escalating. What do you make of that pattern? Now in this next clip, 2 young women are sitting together at a large wooden dining table late at night, candles lit, a handmade Ouija board laid out in front of them, just a piece of paper with letters written across it, and a small, dark object serving as the planchette. No names have been given, so we'll just call them the dark-haired woman and the blonde. They're speaking throughout in what sounds like Swedish or Norwegian. Their voices calm at first, focused, asking questions with their fingers resting lightly on the planchette as it drifts slowly across the paper. Then something shifts. Watch.
Ta ned på god dagen. Det er ikke. Åh, shit. Kødder du nå? Ok, vet du hva? Nå kan jeg få gå hjem, eller? Du kan ikke gå hjem. Nei, jeg tør ikke å gå hjem. Jeg tør ikke å gå nå. Ta det bort. Ta bort sånn her. Jeg trenger ikke å ha det her nå. Hva sier? Ja, men dere, nå faen, nå er jo han, nå er ånden her da. Nå må dere... Ja, velkommen etter av banen. Tenk hvis han kommer og tar meg da. Fy faen, jeg sitter alene. Faen, og så sitter vi i vinduet også. Hallo, hva skal vi si nå? Jeg fortsetter ikke nå. Jo, kom igjen da. Jeg fortsetter, jeg ikke for kjempegøy. Kan dere følge meg hjem, eller? Det er sant. Jeg skulle aldri vært med på dette, vet du. Det kommer seriøst sånne lysglimt foran skjermen, altså. Det er dritcreepy. Nå trodde jeg døra åpnet seg. Helvete, hele den driten ringer jo. Sjekka.
At first, nothing unusual seems to happen. The movement slows, then stops completely. The women pause and laugh nervously, trying to dismiss the moment, before resetting their hands and placing their fingers back on the board to try again. Some believe that's where things begin to shift. Paranormal researchers who study Ouija activity often caution that participants are supposed to formally close a session before stopping, typically by saying a closing phrase such as "goodbye," to signal that communication has ended. Without that, some believe the session remains open, leaving continued interaction more unpredictable. On their second attempt, the atmosphere appears to change. The glass on the table begins to move unexpectedly, sliding in a way that doesn't match their earlier control of the board. The reaction is immediate: hesitation, uncertainty, and a brief pause as they realize something feels different this time. But they continue anyway, and to many viewers, that decision stands out. Paranormal investigators often warn that continuing after an unusual or unsettling response can intensify the experience, as repeated engagement is believed by some to signal continued contact rather than closure. Whether the movement was coincidence, subtle manipulation, or something else entirely is never made clear in the footage. But what remains consistent is the sense that whatever began during that first session did not fully end when they stopped the first time. This next video was recorded on a Ring doorbell camera at a home the filmer and his partner had purchased from an elderly couple, and at the time it was captured, the two of them were over 100 miles away. The previous owners had been married for 76 years, and according to the filmer, the husband collapsed in the front yard one afternoon while cutting the grass and died on the way to the hospital. So the house had been empty, locked up, with no one inside. And yet, the Ring app sent an alert. Listen closely.
We were over 100 miles away when we heard our Ring doorbell sound, and we were super shocked to listen to the sound. Just wait for it. Sounds like the door's opening, and then there's a voice. We purchased the home from a couple that was married for 76 years. The husband collapsed in the front yard cutting the grass and died on the way to the hospital. I think this is him
or his spirit trying to get in and find his wife. It's amazing to be married that long and have.
What you hear first is a sharp, distinct click, the kind of sound a door latch makes when it's being turned from the inside. Then, almost immediately after, a long, low, heavily distorted vocalization bleeds through, drawn out and garbled, like a voice that's been slowed down beyond recognition. The filmer believes it's the husband, still trying to come home and find his wife. That interpretation is hard to shake, honestly, especially when you consider the wedding photograph he shares at the end. A couple posed on a grand staircase, married 76 years, and now separated by something no door can open or close. Skeptics would point to audio buffer corruption as a likely explanation for the distortion, but that click comes first, and it sounds deliberate. This next clip centers on a teenager who, in what looks like a completely darkened room, decided to use a homemade Ouija board, the kind scrawled out by hand on white paper with orange marker, letters and numbers laid out just like any board you'd find in a store. There's no elaborate setup here, no candles, no group of friends crowded around it, just one boy, sitting cross-legged on the floor, a single beam of light trained on the board, and an inverted glass or polished stone acting as the planchette. He rubs his hands together, places one flat on the planchette, and waits. Watch.
I'm here at Grant's house. We're doing a Ouija board session in his basement. Okay, to start off, we're going to do one circle around the board to give any entities power. Are there any spirits with us here tonight? How many spirits are in the room with us? Sorry guys, I'm shaking a little bit. I didn't expect this to work. What is the name of the spirit that is with us? Zozo. What is the name of the second spirit that is with us? Mama? Mama is the name of the second spirit that is with us. Zozo. Zozo.
What was that?
What the heck was that? We need to end the session right now. Okay, to end the session, we go goodbye. So, goodbye. Dude, what the heck was that?
Oh my god.
We need to get out of here.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh! Get out of here!
Within the first 20 seconds, the planchette slides toward yes, and then, slowly and deliberately, begins to spell out BYE, letter by letter, before the session devolves into wide, sweeping arcs across the board. Then, at around a minute and a half in, the camera is violently thrown or dropped, the light beam whipping wildly across the floor before the screen whites out entirely. What makes this harder to dismiss is the sequence itself. Many who've studied Ouija sessions point out that goodbye appearing early in a session, unprompted, is widely considered one of the more unsettling responses, interpreted in some traditions as a spirit refusing further contact, or worse, something signaling it's done communicating and ready to act. The ideomotor effect explains involuntary hand movement, sure, but it doesn't explain what sent that camera across the room. You decide what ended that session so abruptly. Now, in this next clip, a man films himself walking through his home late at night after hearing a noise coming from the kitchen. He explains to the camera, speaking in French, that it's been a while since he last made a video because the strange activity had quieted down. But recently, he's been finding drawers open around the house, and tonight was no different. He already found one open when he walked in, closed it himself, and then stood in the kitchen asking out loud, directly addressing whatever might be there, who it was and what it wanted. Then he asked, plainly and quietly, if he could have a response. Watch.
Donc salut tout le monde, je refais une vidéo, j'en ai pas fait depuis longtemps parce que les phénomènes avaient un peu cessé entre guillemets. Bon, je retrouve quand même des tiroirs ouverts de temps en temps, comme là, voilà, je fais une vidéo parce que je viens de voir ça. J'ai entendu du bruit dans la cuisine et du coup je suis venu. Ok, vous êtes qui? Qu'est-ce que vous voulez? Est-ce que je peux avoir une réponse s'il vous plaît? Est-ce que vous pouvez partir de chez moi? Ok, bon, je referai un live plus tard.
What unsettles a lot of viewers isn't just the movement itself, but the apparent intelligence behind it. This is what investigators sometimes describe as responsive or intelligent haunting behavior, where the activity doesn't just happen randomly, but seems to react directly to the person present. Skeptics will point to a faulty drawer runner or air pressure from an open window, but he'd already been living with this pattern long enough to know something else was going on. He ends the clip asking whatever's there to leave his home. Whether it listened is another question entirely. The following video was recorded by a man who had recently moved into an old house built back in 1912, a property with enough history behind it to already make him uneasy before anything strange even started happening. According to him, the previous tenant had suddenly left without much explanation, and after settling in, he began experiencing odd disturbances throughout the house that pushed him into researching the property's past. During a late-night spirit box session, one word reportedly kept coming through over and over again: fire. After digging deeper, he discovered that the basement of the house had been the site of an accidental fire sometime around 1965, a detail that suddenly made the atmosphere in the home feel a lot heavier. Then one night, while standing in a lit room looking down a dark hallway, he caught this on camera. Watch.
Look, it's my hand.
At the far end of the hallway, a guitar begins to sway on its own, slowly at first, before the movement starts growing stronger. Skeptics pointed toward possible drafts or airflow as the most logical explanation. But what unsettled viewers was how the motion seemed to build, almost like something unseen kept interacting with it. Paranormal theories surrounding old homes often connect fires to lingering energy, especially when the event was sudden or traumatic. Some believe places marked by tragedy can hold on to fragments of that moment for decades, replaying themselves through unexplained sounds, movement, or disturbances tied to certain parts of the house. And considering the repeated mention of fire during the spirit box session, many viewers think whatever is in that hallway may be connected to what happened in the basement all those years ago. Whatever started the movement, he never found the source. In this next clip, someone is walking through a property called the Green Manor, an old house with narrow winding staircases, dark reddish walls, a library with built-in shelves, and an upstairs room lined with antique dolls. And from the moment they point the camera at a teal wooden door in the hallway, something feels off. The door is slightly ajar, and the vintage oval doorknob on its brass backplate just sits there, still and quiet, the way doorknobs are supposed to. But then it starts to move. Watch. The knob jiggles, turns clockwise, and a sharp metallic click rings out as the latch fully disengages and the door swings open on its own. Nobody's on the other side. The person filming then pushes through, climbs the creaking staircase, and when they reach the top, they pan into a side room where a full church pew is lined end to end with at least a dozen porcelain dolls just sitting there, staring. Some people who've seen this footage think the doorknob moment is consistent with what's sometimes called a residual haunting, the idea that a location can essentially record repeated actions, like opening a door, and replay them without any conscious intent behind them. Others think something at the Green Manor is far more aware than that, pointing to the way the latch fully releases, a deliberate mechanical sequence, not just a rattle. Whether it's residual energy or something with intention, you be the judge. In this next clip, a family arrives at what looks like a spacious hotel suite, a large, well-lit room with high vaulted ceilings, a stone fireplace, a loft area, and a balcony with plenty of natural light coming through. Nothing about the space looks threatening, but the moment they reach the doorway of room 24, something happens that none of them were prepared for. Watch.
Come on, Mama!
Oh, she don't like this one. Wasn't expecting that. Dang, Big Mama. Is there something in here? We rebuke it, Kai Kai. We rebuke it. She said,
Upstairs?
Yeah. Yeah. There's shit on the toilet.
That's where you and Dad sleeping?
Mm-hmm.
Good.
What?
Close it. I'll pull out bed. This is so nice.
You welcome. I hope y'all like it. I hope y'all got some energy because we're gonna be up all night.
She immediately starts screaming, "No," crying loudly, and pulling away from the room, and she doesn't stop for the entire clip. What makes this so hard to dismiss is that the girl didn't calm down. There's a belief, fairly common in paranormal communities, that young children, especially toddlers, are far more sensitive to presence than adults because they haven't yet learned to rationalize away what they're feeling. You decide what that little girl was sensing at that doorway. Now in this next clip, a man is out in his shed during the day working on tools when he notices something that stops him cold. A sound coming from a dark attic space above a storage closet he says he's never once been up into. He grabs his phone and starts filming himself, panning the camera around the cluttered shed before pulling open a narrow closet door to show what's inside. Listen closely.
Me or not, I don't care, but listen to this. I'm out in the shed working on tools. Listen. Dude, I swear to God, there's something up in this attic, man. I'm not getting up in here and shit. Do you hear that? Dude, oh my God, bro. Oh my God, man, there's something in this neighborhood, dude. Oh my God. Dude, I don't know what to do in a situation like this. Do you hear this shit, man? This thing was built before I bought this house, man. I've never gone up here one time. What the fuck was that, man? There's stuff left from the previous owner. Oh my God, dude. Oh.
If you listen closely, you'll hear a baby crying, and it happens not once but multiple times, getting clearer and closer each time. The man's reactions are hard to fake. He slams the door, shouts, opens it again, keeps asking if you can hear it too. Then, when he finally works up the nerve to climb the ladder and hold the camera up into that dark space, the last sound he catches, right before the camera drops, is a clean, unmistakable cry of a baby coming from somewhere deep in that darkness. Some viewers think he has squatters in there, which, honestly, isn't impossible. Whatever was up there, he didn't stick around long enough to find out. So what do you think was making that sound?